Chapter 1. Victoria Bell and I had been together for 5 years. Our relationship was strong, and we were already talking about marriage. On her birthday, I took the day off to prepare a surprise at home. She said there was a family emergency and left without even a glance. The next day, a wedding photo appeared on my close friend's social media feed. Looking at the bride in the picture, my fists clenched, so when she said she liked green, she meant she was making a fool out of me. Staring at the wedding photo on Ethan Shaw's social media feed, I was speechless for a long time. The woman in the photo, dressed in a white wedding gown, was arm in arm with him, her smile radiant. From now on, through blooming springs and changing seasons, I will grow old with you. The words in the caption stabbed at my eyes. Just 2 days ago, Victoria and I were discussing our own wedding date and venue. She had told me that the location didn't matter as long as she was marrying me. Only 2 days had passed, and now she was married to someone else. Yesterday, to prepare for her birthday, I had specifically taken the day off. I spent the whole day decorating our apartment in her favorite color, green. I cooked a table full of her favorite dishes, bought her favorite taro cake, and the Chanel bag she had been eyeing, planning to give her a perfect surprise. At 6 in the evening, I drove to her office to pick her up. I sent her a message, but there was no reply. I tried a video call, but she rejected it immediately. "Company team building event. I'll be back after dinner. You should get some rest early." She followed it up with an I love you emoji. I smiled and sent her a voice message asking for the address so I could pick her up after dinner. She didn't reply. I assumed she was busy eating. It wasn't until almost 11 o'clock that she finally came home. Without even looking at me, she went to the bedroom, packed a few things, and only said perfunctorily as she reached the door, "My mom broke her leg. I have to rush back to my hometown for a few days." Hearing this, I became anxious as well. "Let's go back together. I have some herbal supplements at home we can bring for your mom." She refused. "We're not married yet. It wouldn't be appropriate." Before I could say another word, she was gone in a hurry. The food on the table sat there, untouched and lonely. My heart felt just as empty. In the past, we had always celebrated our birthdays together. Neither of us had ever missed one. I picked up the chipped thermal flask from the table. She'd had it ever since I met her, and could never bear to replace it. She normally wouldn't even let me touch it. She must have left it behind in her rush yesterday. I had bought her a much nicer flask, one that cost hundreds of dollars, but she just left it in a cabinet to collect dust. She said the old one was a gift from her best friend, and she would use it forever. I didn't think much of it at the time. I never even noticed the name neon engraved on the bottom. Ethan Shaw and I had been friends since middle school. We stayed close even after we started working, often meeting up for drinks and chats. In fact, I was the one who got him his current job. Last year, Victoria suddenly told me she had run into him on the street and that he looked as thin as a rail. She asked me what was going on. That's when I found out he had been laid off. I took him to my university friend's company. Originally, my friend's company only hired candidates with a master's degree, but Ethan only had a high school diploma. My friend did me a favor and hired him, offering a very generous salary and bonus. I never imagined that the two of them had been hooking up behind my back all this time. Chapter 2. The front door opened with a key. Victoria dragged her exhausted body inside. Seeing me on the sofa, she walked straight over and draped herself over me. "Baby, all my relatives came to see my mom." It was so tiring having to entertain every single one of them. From last night until now, I had gone from disbelief to complete numbness. She looked at the green dolls, green balloons, and green ribbons in the living room, her eyes lighting up. "Baby, did you prepare all this for me? It's so beautiful, baby. I love you so much." She leaned in to kiss my cheek, but I pushed her away. As I looked up, I saw the red mark on her neck and let out a self-deprecating laugh. Victoria had always said she wasn't a casual person and that we wouldn't take that step before marriage. She wanted to give herself to me completely on our wedding night. I respected her decision and was willing to wait. We usually just held hands. The only time we kissed was when she came home drunk, mumbling neon, not sincere. Thinking back now, she must have been calling for Ethan, not me. She seemed a little unhappy, pouting as she said, "Baby, what's wrong with you today? You've been so quiet." My thoughts snapped back to the present. I looked up at her, trying to find a hint of guilt in her eyes, but there was none. "Were you really at home taking care of your mom yesterday?" She looked taken aback, then angry. "Sincere Clark, What's that supposed to mean? You've been giving me the cold shoulder ever since I got back. If I wasn't at home taking care of my mom, where else would I be? A sharp pain shot through my heart. I held out my phone, showing her the picture. Is this what you call taking care of your mom? She was shocked. Where did I get the photo? Of course, she had secretly posted it on her social media feed and blocked me. A colleague of mine happened to be friends with her online. Yesterday, that colleague had asked me in surprise, "Sincere, did you and Victoria break up?" I didn't know how to respond. I had been holding on to a sliver of hope that maybe Ethan had maliciously photoshopped it. Only now did I realize how ridiculous that thought was. After a long pause, she finally spoke softly. "Baby, let me explain. I didn't want to hide it from you. Ethan's mother was forcing him to get married, so I had no choice but to agree to help him. My heart will always belong to you." I pointed to the flask on the table and said flatly, "A gift from Ethan, right? I asked your colleagues. You didn't have a team-building event yesterday at all. You weren't answering my messages because you were with him, weren't you?" A flicker of guilt crossed her eyes. "Sincere, Clark, I told you not to touch my flask. I didn't want to argue with her." "You're right, I was with Ethan. So what? I did it to protect your friendship with him." She slammed the door on her way out. She was right. It wasn't like she had wronged me. If I hadn't asked, she would have kept me in the dark forever. Chapter 3. I canceled our joint payment account, deactivated the credit cards I'd given her, and started packing my things. Looking at the framed photo of us on the nightstand, I smashed it violently on the floor. It was from the year we first got together, taken on a trip to Cancun. Just then, another photo slipped out from behind the frame. It was a picture of Victoria and Ethan kissing. Judging by the background, it was also taken in Cancun. I remembered she had told me at the time that a friend of hers was also there. They hadn't seen each other in a long time, so they arranged to meet at a cafe. When she came back that evening, she looked exhausted and unsteady on her feet. She had changed into a new outfit and complained to me. My friend insisted on dragging me out shopping. "I'm so tired. What do you think of my new dress?" I didn't suspect a thing. I gave her a back rub and a massage. It turned out they were already having an affair back then, or possibly even earlier. My phone rang. It was Victoria. "What is the meaning of this? You canceled the joint account and deactivated my cards. Wire me $5,000. I'm getting my nails done with a friend." For all these years, I had paid for all our expenses. I didn't care about the money, as long as Victoria and I were happy together. "Ask Ethan. He's your husband." I hung up and continued packing. The door was suddenly thrown open from the outside. "Sincere, Clark, what the hell do you want?" All I did was help Ethan out. "Do you have to be this dramatic?" she demanded as soon as she walked in. My temper flared. "Victoria, you can even help him out by getting married. If he asked you to help him have a son, would you do that too?" She was speechless with anger and started bringing up the past. "When you first graduated from university, who else would have given you the time of day besides me? Now that you've made it big, you think you're hot stuff and want to dump me?" She was right. Right after graduation, my mother had just passed away, and I was struggling to find a job. It was the lowest point in my life. That's when I met Victoria. She lent me money so my mother could have a proper burial. For 5 years, she stood by my side, supporting me, and I did everything I could to be good to her. Almost my entire monthly salary and bonuses went into her account. Even the first apartment I bought was in her name. "I've repaid the kindness you showed me over the years. Let's just end it here." She spat out her words venomously. "End it? I wasted 5 years of my youth on you, and you think you can just end it? Sincere, Clark, don't even think about it." Chapter 4. When Ethan found out about Victoria and me, he asked to meet. Lulu speaks her mind without thinking. "This whole thing is my fault. My mom was forcing me to get married, and I had no other choice but to ask Lulu for help. She's been with you for 5 years. There's no doubt about her feelings for you." Seeing the gold watch on his wrist, my heart sank. A week before Valentine's Day this year, Victoria had gone to the mall and bought it. I thought it was for me, but days passed and I never received it. I finally couldn't help but ask, "Baby, what about that watch you bought the other day?" She hesitated for a moment before answering, "Oh, that one. My best friend asked me to buy it for her boyfriend." "What, you want one too?" I pretended not to care, and she didn't think any more of it. It turned out it was for him. "That's a nice watch you have there." He glanced at his wrist and brushed it off. "A friend gave it to me." I slammed my glass down on the table. "Ethan, I've never heard of anyone asking their brother's girlfriend to help them get married." He was at a loss for words. Lulu and I just had a ceremony. We didn't get legally married. If you're so bothered by it, just get the certificate with her, and I'll be out of the picture. His shameless words disgusted me. I threw a punch at his face, knocking his glasses off. I stomped on them, crushing them under my foot. Putting on glasses doesn't hide the fact that you're worse than a dog. Ethan was furious. He grabbed a beer bottle from the table and swung it at my head. But he was severely nearsighted and missed completely. Instead, I kicked him hard in the chest a few times, leaving him bruised and battered. "Sincere Clark, what are you doing? I'll call the police if you don't stop, Nian. Are you okay?" Victoria suddenly rushed in. Ethan shook his head and held her hand, signaling her to stay calm. The scene felt strangely familiar. Whenever Ethan and I drank together, Victoria would always drink on his behalf. I got jealous a few times, but she would always say, "If he gets drunk, we'll have to take him home. It's too much trouble." So I was always the one who ended up blacking out. The next morning, she would be by my side telling me all the things I had said while I was drunk. One time, I woke up in the middle of the night and found she wasn't there. I called her. I heard a man's voice on the other end. She explained that a friend was drunk and on the phone with her boyfriend. I never once doubted her. "Nian, I'm taking you to the hospital." In the end, Victoria didn't call the police. She helped Ethan into a taxi and left. Chapter 5. That night my phone rang. Victoria had forgotten her keys and asked me to open the door. I suppressed my anger and opened it. "You hit him, and I was kind enough to go take care of him." "What's with your attitude?" she said irritably. I saw the man's jacket draped over her shoulders and said nothing. She seemed to notice my bad mood and softened her tone. "All right, don't be angry. I was just worried because Ethan was hurt so badly. If something happened to him, you'd be the one in trouble. I used to fall for that kind of manipulation. Done playing with Ethan, so now you're back to playing with my emotions?" My words stung her. "Sincere Clark, so that's what you think of me." I threw the photo that had been hidden in the frame at her. "You're married? You've slept with him. What other lies are you going to use to deceive me?" She stared at me in disbelief. I closed my eyes and said, "Let's break up." The words "break up" seemed to trigger something in her. She swept everything off the table. "You'd better not regret what you said today. Did you really think I'd want someone like you, the kind of person who jinxes their parents to death? Now get the hell out of my house. People in my old neighborhood used to say I had an unlucky face, that I was the reason my parents died. Victoria would always comfort me. They're just talking nonsense. Their parents are dead too. Does that mean they jinxed them as well?" Her words used to make me feel better. I never thought that one day I would hear those same words from her. I had already moved most of my things out anyway. Without looking back, I left for the next few weeks. I was constantly away on business trips. In the past, I would always turn down travel assignments. For one, Victoria didn't want me to go, and I also enjoyed being close to the person I loved. During that time, Victoria sent me a few messages. I never replied. My boss at the new branch thought I was very capable and asked if I was willing to transfer permanently. I thought about it and agreed. The competition in a big city is fierce, but so are the opportunities. It was time for me to start planning for my own future. When I returned, I submitted my resignation to my old boss. My university friend Ryan Davis was surprised. "What's with the sudden decision to leave?" He could tell I wasn't in high spirits and patted me on the shoulder. "I heard about what happened. There's no such thing as eternal love in this world. Brother, money and power are what really matter. Focus on your career." I opened another bottle of beer and downed the whole thing, getting completely drunk. I threw my arm around his shoulder. "You're right, but that Ethan Shaw is quite ambitious. He poached some of my people, went solo, and even opened his new company right next to mine." Hearing this, I felt a pang of guilt. "Rye, I'm sorry." He shook his head, not seeming to mind. "That's just business. May the best man win." Chapter 6. As soon as I got home, a figure in white stood before me. Our eyes met. I had nothing to say. Victoria walked over, holding a bowl of hangover soup. "Ryan told me you guys were out drinking. I figured you'd be drunk, so I made some hangover soup. You should drink it." I ignored her and walked straight to the sofa to sit down. I was too harsh that day. "You've been mad for a month. Shouldn't you be over it by now?" I turned the air conditioner to its lowest setting. The cold air sobered me up. "Why are you turning on the AC on such a cold day? You'll catch a cold." Her hand reached for the remote in my hand, but I shook it off. "This is my house. I'll do whatever I want." My attitude was starting to annoy her. "Sincere Clark, that's enough of your tantrum." She tried to grab the remote from me again. I pushed her away coldly once more. "No one asked you to come here and act all concerned." She got angry and slammed the bowl on the table. "I came here to take care of you out of the kindness of my heart. Don't be so ungrateful." Staring at the soup spilled on the table, I scoffed. "I hate ginger, so I never drink that stuff. Whenever I got drunk in the past, I'd get medicine from the pharmacy." Ethan, on the other hand, had loved ginger his whole life. The ringing of a phone broke the silence. Victoria quickly pulled out her phone. I clearly saw her chat with Ethan and the selfie of the two of them as their chat background. Just an hour ago, she and Ethan were discussing where to get a late-night snack. She had even bragged that a few sweet words were all it would take to win me back. "My friend got into a fender bender and she's scared to be alone. I have to go help her. You should drink the soup and get some rest. I'll come see you tomorrow." I stood by the window looking down at the BMW parked downstairs. Ethan got out, put his arm around Victoria's shoulder, and kissed her on the cheek. She blushed and kissed him back. Then, they got into the car together and disappeared down the street. I poured the hangover soup from the table into the trash can. I changed the code on the front door, booked a flight for that night, and left the city. Chapter 7. I adapted quickly to the new work environment. Within a month, my performance shot to the top of the company charts. My boss valued me highly and made me his assistant, taking me to various brand events. It was at one of these events that I ran into Victoria. She was wearing exquisite makeup, holding Ethan's arm as they mingled and toasted with guests. She seemed surprised to see me there. "What are you doing here? Where have you been for the past 2 months? Do you know I've been looking for you?" Victoria demanded angrily. Ethan was also surprised to see me. "Sincere, you're here too? This is Mr. Anderson's brand launch event. Who did you come with?" I answered coldly. "My boss." "Who's your boss?" "I remember your old company was just a small private firm. I doubt they'd have the credentials to be here." "I'm his boss." A woman in a long purple dress with wavy hair walked over. She was my new superior, Isabel Sterling, the chairman of the Mingyu Group. Victoria's face immediately darkened. Everyone around us turned to look. Isabel smiled. "Little Clark, aren't you going to introduce us?" I said. "Chairman Sterling, this is my ex-girlfriend and her husband." She nodded. Ethan's gaze was fixed on her. He quickly explained. "Miss Bell and Sincere had a little argument. She heard he was here and asked me to bring her. I'm not her husband." Victoria chimed in. "Baby, see? I came all this way to find you. Don't be mad anymore." With that, she tried to take my arm. Isabel suddenly joked. "Mr. Shaw and this young lady seem very close. It's truly enviable." Victoria and Ethan's expressions turned sour. "Chairman Sterling, you've misunderstood. The three of us are just good friends, so we don't pay much attention to appearances." After that, Ethan, holding a glass of red wine, hovered around Isabel, laughing and chatting, completely ignoring everyone else. The sight of his hypocrisy made my stomach turn. "Ethan, I've never heard of someone being married but not being a husband. Your words must be breaking my ex-girlfriend's heart." My voice wasn't loud, but it was clear enough for everyone to hear. Upon hearing this, Isabel gave him a meaningful look. "Mr. Shaw, what you proposed earlier is not currently within our company's consideration. I'm very sorry." Ethan gritted his teeth and shot me a venomous glare. Chapter 8. After the event, Victoria pulled me into the restroom. "You disappeared for all these days without a word. Have you been with that woman?" I pulled my arm away from her grasp. "That's none of your business." She flew into a rage. "How is it none of my business? Don't you forget who helped you get to where you are today? You think you can just dump me now that you've latched onto a sugar mama? No way." As she droned on about the past, I cut her off. "Victoria, I don't owe you anything anymore. I'm not asking for the apartment back. We're broken up." Just then, Ethan's impatient voice came from outside. "Victoria, are you done yet? I have things to do. I don't have time to waste on you." Coincidentally, Isabel sent me a message. "Sorry, I have to take my boss back to the office. I don't have time to reminisce with you." I walked out of the restroom and brushed past Ethan. He looked annoyed and said with contempt, "I thought you had some integrity, Sincere Clark. Turns out you just became a gigolo." I had work to do, so I bit my tongue and didn't argue with him. As I walked towards the exit, I overheard his conversation with Victoria. "Stay away from me next time we're out. Do you know who that woman is? She's the chairman of the Mingyu Group, Charles Sterling's daughter. If I had landed that partnership, I would have been set for life. You ruined everything." That dog, Sincere Clark, sure is lucky to have hooked up with her. What do you mean I ruined it? You were the one who asked me to come with you. They argued for a few more moments before parting ways angrily. Isabel sat in the passenger seat and offered me some advice. Little Clark, if you want to climb higher, don't let others distract you. There's always someone new to take your place. I value your abilities, but you're not irreplaceable. I nodded. I'll remember your words, Chairman Sterling. After that, I devoted myself entirely to my career, working alongside Isabel. I gradually learned a great deal from her. Many people at the company said she only became chairman because of her father's connections. That wasn't true at all. She was a perfectionist who reviewed dozens, sometimes hundreds of documents a day, attended multiple business meetings, and still found time to follow international trade. She barely slept more than 4 or 5 hours a night. A person like that is bound to succeed at anything they do. Chapter 9. Victoria started waiting for me downstairs at the office every few days, bringing me things. Today, a cup of coffee mysteriously appeared in my car with a sticky note on the bag. Take care of yourself even when you're busy. Coffee will help you stay sharp. I picked up the bag and tossed it in the trash. Victoria immediately rushed out and pulled the coffee from the bin. I waited in line for half an hour and spent over $10 on this. How could you just throw it away? Nobody asked you to buy it. I stepped on the gas and drove away. Late that night, I was working overtime at the office when Victoria had someone deliver a late-night snack for me. I didn't even look at it before throwing it in the trash. Little Clark still here? Chairman Sterling, I have one more contract to finish up. I'll leave after that. She nodded in satisfaction and sat down on the sofa to watch the news. All right. When you're done, let's grab a late-night snack together. 20 minutes later, I typed the last word and shut down my computer. Chairman Sterling, I'm ready. I asked her where she wanted to go, and she pointed to the late-night food stall across the street from our building. I was a bit surprised. Would the boss of such a large corporation eat at a street food stall? Let's get barbecue here. It's pretty good. I asked curiously. Chairman Sterling, have you been here before? She nodded. I used to love it when I was a student. I'd even make my dad drive me here. As soon as we sat down, I noticed someone staring in our direction. I looked up and saw Victoria sitting alone at a table across from us, drinking sullenly. Isabel marked a few items on the menu and handed it to me. I ordered the grilled fish. It's delicious. You can order whatever else you like. Victoria used to say barbecue was unsanitary and that she didn't like it, so I had never eaten it. But I had smelled barbecue on her several times. I ordered some meat skewers, wanting to try them for myself. She handed me a grilled chicken wing. Try this. It's very tender. I had one, and it was indeed delicious, practically melting in my mouth. As we ate and talked, Victoria, reeking of alcohol, stumbled towards me. Baby, please don't go. I was wrong before. Please forgive me. I pushed her away. Baby, this stuff is bad for you. Let's go home. I'll cook you something delicious. You love fish, don't you? I went to the market and bought the freshest fish for you. Isabel pushed the grilled fish towards me. So you like fish? This one is quite good. Thank you, Chairman Sterling. She finished the skewers in front of her, took out her phone to pay, but I beat her to it. Chairman Sterling, I'll take you home, but... She said, don't worry about it. You should take your ex-girlfriend home. It's not safe for a girl to be out alone like this. Chairman Sterling, this was my mistake. Please deduct it from my salary. She bit her lip and smiled, then took her car keys and drove off herself. I won't deduct your salary. Little Clark, I need someone to help me deal with my father. Of course, the choice is yours. Chapter 10. I called Ethan. Victoria's drunk. Come pick her up. I sent him the location, but he never showed up. I called him again to urge him, and he cursed. She's not my wife. What does she have to do with me? Weren't you madly in love with her? She's all yours. Veins bulged on my forehead in anger. In the end, I had no choice but to take Victoria to the nearest hotel and get her a room. After getting her to the room, I turned to leave. Victoria grabbed my arm and wouldn't let go. Baby, don't go. I'm scared to be alone. I turned on all the lights in the room. When I turned back, she had already taken off her coat and sweater and was about to remove her last layer of clothing. Baby, I'm so cold. Can you hold me while I sleep? When a person's heart has been completely broken, no amount of seduction can stir a ripple. I walked towards the door. She suddenly rushed over and hugged me from behind. Sincere Clark, I've gone this far. Are you still not willing to get back together? I forcefully pried her arms off me. I'm not a casual person. She froze for a moment but refused to let go. I don't believe you didn't feel anything just now. Baby, I know it was all my fault. I promise I'll be good to you from now on. We can go get married and get our license." Without looking back, I walked towards the elevator. She yelled after me, "Have you fallen for that woman?" "Sincere Clark, you promised you would only ever love me." I didn't answer and left the hotel. Those vows we once made had long since ceased to exist. The next day, Isabel called me into her office and asked, "Have you thought about what we discussed last night?" It took me a moment to realize what she was referring to. "Chairman Sterling, a woman like you could have any man you want. Why me? I don't have much to offer you." She gestured for me to sit down. "To me, marriage is just a formality to appease others. In that case, I might as well choose someone who is like-minded. Of course, that's secondary. You're a good person, and marrying me will only benefit you." I picked up the water pitcher and poured her a glass. "You're right, Chairman Sterling. I have no reason to refuse. Through her, I could gain access to a network of influential people. What reason did I have to say no?" The next day, we went to City Hall and got our marriage license, officially becoming husband and wife in the eyes of the law. Isabel said, "However, I hope we can maintain our professional relationship at work, but in private, I need you to cut off your past relationship completely. After all, I am a woman." Chapter 11. Not long after we got married, Isabel took me to meet her father, Charles Sterling. The old man was nearly 70. I heard he had his daughter late in life, so he doted on her. Naturally, his attitude towards me was lukewarm, occasionally mixed with a hint of disdain. "I've already booked the Grand Plaza Hotel for your and Isabel's wedding next week. These next few days you will accompany Isabel to pick out a wedding dress. Remember, my daughter deserves only the best." I agreed to everything. "Isabel tells me your parents have passed away." "Good. That saves her a trip to meet the in-laws. Now that you've married into the Sterling family, you will watch your words and actions carefully. Don't hold Isabel back." I didn't quite process it at first. Marrying into the family? A live-in son-in-law? Isabel patted my shoulder. "Little Clark, you must have heard the saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch." I curled my lips into a self-deprecating smile. The allure of power and money is irresistible to anyone. It just depends on where one draws the line. Over the next few days, I accompanied Isabel to try on wedding dresses, and the wedding day arrived quickly. Neither of us had many relatives, so the guests were mostly business partners. Isabel introduced me to them one by one. Being in that environment, I truly understood the vast gap between people. To my surprise, Ethan was also there. "Surprised?" "I invited him," Isabel said with a smile, standing beside me. Ethan was dressed even more extravagantly than I, the groom. After Isabel and I completed the ceremony, we went to toast the guests. As soon as Ethan saw Isabel, he smiled and greeted her. "Chairman Sterling, I didn't expect to be drinking at your and Sincere's wedding so soon. Congratulations." "Thank you." He then deliberately brought me up in front of Isabel, recounting stories from our past. Anyone paying attention could tell he was intentionally belittling me. "Sincere and I have been friends for many years. I hope you'll look out for me in business in the future, Chairman Sterling." "Of course." Then, as if unintentionally, he brought up Victoria. "Sincere, why isn't Victoria here today? Didn't you invite her? Even though you broke up, she was with you through your toughest times. That doesn't seem right." I forced a smile. "Ethan, you're still as nosy as ever." Isabel clapped her hands and pointed to the woman who had just burst through the doors. "Who said she wasn't invited? Isn't that her right there?" Victoria ran in wearing a wedding dress. "Husband, it seems your ex-girlfriend is deeply in love with you." Isabel raised an eyebrow, looking at me playfully. "I hope you won't disappoint me in a moment." She remained composed and continued to drink with the guests. Victoria pushed through the crowd and ran up to me. "Baby, I'm here to marry you. Don't I look beautiful today?" She twirled around happily. "You have the wrong person. The man you're supposed to marry is him," I said, pointing at Ethan. "Baby, I'm about to marry you. Stop being angry." At that moment, Ethan shouted from the crowd, "Isn't that Sincere's ex-girlfriend?" Chapter 12. Charles Sterling slammed his cane on the ground, his face dark as he asked me, "What is going on?" Victoria's eyes widened as she glared at the old man. "Your shameless daughter stole my boyfriend and even made him marry into your family. How dare you ask me what's going on? Baby, let's go take our wedding photos." "Ignore them." I watched Victoria's unreasonable antics in silence. "Dad, I'll handle this. Throw her out, the wedding will continue." Several burly security guards grabbed Victoria and dragged her out. "Sincere Clark, you can't do this to me. 5 years together. Do you even have a heart?" Isabel nodded at me in satisfaction, then turned to Ethan. Mr. Shaw seems to be particularly interested in my husband's private affairs. He realized Isabel was angry and quickly apologized. Chairman Sterling, you've misunderstood. Sincere and I have always been very direct with each other. Isabel nodded as if she understood, and Ethan thought he was off the hook. Suddenly, a video started playing on the large screen. The person in the video was Ethan, engaged in group sex with multiple women. Mr. Shaw, I'm also quite interested in how many ex-girlfriends you have. That girl just now was your wife, right? It's quite heartbreaking. Everyone present was an elite in the industry. Ethan's entire body had been exposed for all to see. And it didn't end there. His company's fraudulent accounting and tax evasion were also publicly exposed. Isabel walked past him, glanced at him sideways, and said contemptuously, I normally wouldn't bother to look into your sordid affairs, but since you kept targeting my husband, I had no choice but to let you spend some time in jail to cool off. Ethan's eyes nearly popped out of his head. Isabel Sterling, you, she smiled, linked her arm with mine, and said, Little Clark, the wedding is over. It's time to get back to the office. I didn't understand why she would help me, especially at such an important event. To clear away your obstacles, of course, so you can focus on being my assistant. Charles Sterling acted much faster than I could have. After Victoria was dragged out, he had her sent to a psychiatric hospital. After being surrounded by mentally ill patients all day, her own mental state eventually broke down. Isabel arranged for her to be sent back to her parents. Later, I started my own gaming company. A few years later, the company had grown strong, and I finally had the power to stand by Isabel's side. When people mentioned me, they no longer called me the Sterling family's live-in son-in-law.